Many of us do not believe that we are sick until we cannot do things that we do on a daily basis. That is what will put us down.
And we don't go to the hospital to say, I want to just check my body.
Because you cannot do that because nothing is taking you down. Anything that does not stop you from doing your day-to-day activity,
you're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Amazing grace.
Every journey begins with a dream, a challenge, a moment of courage. At Afrisota Digital, we tell the real stories of resilience, success, and impact. We celebrate the triumphs, embrace the struggles, and inspire the future. Every voice matters. Join the movement, subscribe, like, comment, and be part of our community. Visit afrisota.org and follow us because your story deserves to be heard. This is Afrisota. We aspire to inspire.
Has there been any kind of studies to see how the Western way of dealing with mental health and treating mental health correlates with the way that we do it in Africa, in the African cultural way? Are these people just evil people, witchcraft, and nothing to do with but these people, it works.
Yeah. See, what happened is that people forget that before people are trained as a psychiatrist, other people have been receiving treatment that worked for them. So we cannot consider those treatments as barbaric. If it worked for them, it's evident that it worked for them. What happens sometimes is we believe that when you study something, they said it's scientific. But our people, they forget that it's a belief system. If you believe it, it's going to happen. If you don't believe it, some people can be going to the hospital from hospital to hospital and doing different tests. But they will tell you, if I can just go home and pray, it'll be over. Or some people will tell you, if I can just go to the mountain, climb the mountain, breathe, and put oil in my head, I'll be fine. Because they believe in that system.
Yeah.
In mental illness, everyone has mental health. But we don't all have mental illness. What we have is when you are able to get up every day and do different things, you're okay. But one of the things that happens sometimes is how we describe our own illness. Sometimes people will describe it accurately to get treatment. Sometimes you don't even know how to describe it because you don't have a word for it in your own language. And so sometimes this doctor cannot do that. They will just assume when you start saying something, they just, okay, this is what that means. But that may not be what it means. And so we need to listen to ourselves. And a lot of time, the Western providers, practitioners, need to ask questions for people in the diaspora when they are here now. If I go to the clinic, for example, one year I was so sick, I went to Nigeria, I came back sick. I told them I had malaria. They said, no, we don't have malaria in this country. And I said, well, I know you don't have it, but where I come from, we have it.
Yeah.
No, I was so sick, they put me in a place there, like cold water, places, there's heat. In winter time, even in the summer, it was 80 degrees, I was sweating. And I told them, I know the symptoms. Guess what? I suffered for this for 5 days. Until when they tested and used urine, they couldn't find the urine, they found it in the blood. That's when I said, I told you guys, that is what I had. So sometimes people need to ask questions. People will come to me and say, they feel they say, if you were in your country, what would you do? You can tell me. This is all I have to do, but they don't have it here. So that would tell me more. But over here, people don't ask you questions. Even when you ask you, they ask you and you tell them, they say no, they don't believe it.
That is not knowledge.
So after they found that out, they said, wow, you are right. They have been in pain for 5 days. That is the time they reported me to the CDC and get medication for me. Now I have it. I will send it to you. I will send you the link because I used that for an interview for Department of Health here in Minnesota.
Okay.
And the reason why I used that was I serve on the advisory of malaria. Because they say that malaria is not here, but we have an advisory here that when people come from African country that has malaria, we give them educational awareness. When they are traveling, when they need to go to travel clinic, that is what I've been there. I think we had it for 5 years now. It's now that no money for it again because of the new changes.
Yeah.
So they use that as a documentary now on the Department of Health. And what that means is for them to be able to be culturally humble, humility, listen to your clients. Be humble enough to say your client know how he or she is feeling. In mental illness, the same thing. We describe it differently. Some people will say, I feel like they put rock on me. I cannot even get up. That's a sign of fatigue and depression. Sometimes people will say for 5 days they cannot even go out. So they use bodies to describe it instead of mind.
Yeah.
And so when you hear those things, you say, this person is going through this. So, and sometimes that is the language they can use to understand that. And that is why the Western practitioners dealing with immigrants, the people in diaspora, refugees, need to understand that the language matters in describing their illness. And they also need to know that we believe in curative medicine, curative approach. We do not do preventative. African people do not believe, many of us do not believe that we are sick until we cannot do things that we do on a daily basis. That is what will put us down.
And we don't go to hospital to say, I want to just check my body.
Because you cannot do that because nothing is taking you down. Anything that does not stop you from doing your day-to-day activity,
you're fine.
You're fine. Yeah. That is what is going on here. And we need to be able to approach people and understand them.
Yeah.
Don't use one heart fits all approach.
Excellent.
And that is why we have this African Mental Health Summit every year.
Okay.
I saw the gap and I tried to fill that gap to say every year let's have professionals from African continent to talk about this for the larger group to understand, so that when we go to their shop, they know what to expect.
Yeah, excellent. And that now that we have gone layers upon layers into this mental health thing, and in Africa with our witch doctors and all that knocking containers, you are in this practice for such a long time. Now, African immigrants, and I'm focusing on African immigrants. I'm sure you've seen a ton, you have experiences and things. Now, these are people who come from a place where, first of all, if one person in the family demonstrates any kind of mental health issue, the whole family feels it's a shameful thing for them, it's a disgrace for them. These are people who would prefer to take this person to the Ngambe place, to the witch doctor, instead of looking for solutions in a hospital. Because most of the hospitals, they will actually chain these people down,
of course,
and treat them like they are, as if they are
or sometimes
beasts.
they beat them.
They beat them up.
They say they are beating the devil out of them.
Now, these are people who come here with this kind of experience, with this kind of belief, with this kind of culture. What has been your experience with African immigrants in the field of mental health, or in treating them, or in what has been your experience? Do they freely come to talk about mental health to mental health practitioners? Do they freely?
Well, some of them may say they are feeling this way, but they will not completely say they are depressed, because they themselves may not even understand that they are depressed. They may just, the way they describe it is when we can say, maybe this is what is happening. But many of our people do not directly approach you to say, please, I am feeling this way. Not many of them will come down. It will either be a friend that watches them and say, I've been noticing this about so and so. I would like you to talk to him or her and say, is there anything going on? Sometimes when you do this, you have to be very strategic in approaching our people. Or if they come to you, say for example, somebody came to me because the court ordered him to come.
Oh.
Because the client came because it was court order. And they said it was very violent at home, domestic abuse to the children, mom and the wife.
Wow.
And he's been seeing a therapist that is white, like a Caucasian therapist. For years and no improvement. He's still fighting at home. So somebody mentioned my name and they sent the guy to me. So I got some information where it come from, which country, and it came from a country where there was war that time. But the guy came to my office. As soon as he walked in, he said, Dr. Oni, I am not a crazy person. And I said, never met me. Just that they gave me my name. And I said, did I say you are crazy? He said, well, what brought you here? I asked him the question, what brought me to my office? He said, I come to borrow money. I said, you see the sign here, it's not a bank. We don't borrow money here, we are not bank.
Yeah.
And I said, I kind of leaned towards him. We were sitting. I said, tell me what's going on with you. The guy, 45-year-old, cried right away. And I said, sure, tell me. I said, you don't come to borrow money from me because I know in your country there's war going on right now. You are aware of that? He said, yeah. I said, so why do you want to go there for? He said, he's been accountant general for his home country and came here for 5 years now with no job. He has children, he has a wife that is doing very small job that doesn't pay anything. So he put his anger and frustration of not having a job on the family.
Insecurities creeping.
And I said, so that's what's going on. He said, yeah. I said, then why did you say you want to borrow money to go to Africa?
So he was coming to tell you that I want to borrow money to go back. Better let me go back to Africa.
Yeah. And I'm saying to him, there's war in your country. You're not going there. That's not what you come here for. Tell me what happened. Many people may not be able to approach him that way. The approach matters because I know him is from his country and I know what's going on there. It's not from my country, but I know that where it came from. So I said, so now it's because you are looking for a job. He said, yes. It was in the summer. I said, okay. But please, you need to focus on looking for a job, not putting those anger and frustration on your family anymore. Next week, I need to come back again. So we kind of start our relationship that way. So before he came back, there was a picnic. A friend of mine worked at a company, this bank called, they changed the name now. It's a bank here, and they changed the name. And this guy is the manager there. So we went to their picnic. I attended the picnic. And I said, hey, by the way, do you have a cashier job? He said, yeah, we have cashier job. I said, oh, okay, good. So during my meeting with this guy, I said, can you do a cashier job? He said, anything that has to do with accounting, I can do it. I said, okay. I have a friend that had a cashier job, that you can be in the bank and work as a cashier. And he said, but I don't have any outfit to wear. So we went to Burlington Coat Factory, got him outfit and everything. Went for the interview, got the job. After 3 months, he's telling me he has a friend in Atlanta to go and visit. No more anger, no more
fighting
at home. So I have to write a letter to court to say there's no need for anger management. It's an employment that you needed. So our people, you have to know how you can dribble each other.
And it's not even just knowing how to dribble. Sometimes you are treating malaria when somebody is sick of filariasis.
Exactly.
Because the names rhyme. They end with ria.
Exactly.
You are treating malaria. You are giving them medicine for malaria.
And they have filariasis.
They have filariasis. And you say there's no improvement.
How can that be? So they keep giving this therapy. I've been saying to myself, what is even saying a therapy session when the guy is thinking, looking for a job, but you are counseling my mind? You know, he said the guy has a very straight mind, but doesn't know how to execute what he's looking for. Got a job, that was the end of it.
Now, I just want you to help our African immigrants here. What are the kind of things that people can see and then...
Well, a lot of time people are not observing a lot of time. People may just say, I'm not sleeping well. I've not been sleeping for the past 2 days. The question is, there are times when you may not sleep for 2 days. Just maybe something just temporarily happened.
Yeah.
It is length of time that matters. How long makes a difference. And sometimes people cannot track it down. There are times when people are just, we call it blue. When you just have a blue, that you say, sometimes the weather out there may just make you feel like you don't want to do anything today. That doesn't mean you are depressed. But if it's going on for weeks, that means you need to see somebody.
Yeah.
And then the same thing, things you enjoyed doing before, just all of a sudden become a chore. Then you need to check something out. Your children that used to have A, B, A plus, B plus, just if something is D plus, D minus, you know something is wrong with that child. Let's find out what's going on. What happened? Don't just say something wrong with you. They say no, nothing is wrong with you. But they say, what happened to you?
Yeah.
So yeah, that gives people to tell stories.
To talk about what is happening instead of trying to, if you put to them the negative aspect, what is wrong?
You already agree that something is wrong.
Yeah.
You already pathologize the person.
Yeah.
So, but when you say, what happened to you? That means I've not been seeing you doing these things before. You already give hope there. Joe, what happened to you? You just had the guy A, B. He said, yeah, I've been going through a lot of bullying in my class. I've been going through a lot of this. Because sometimes, even kids that you just mentioned, when they come from school to get home, parents may say, how was school today? It's good. What is good about school today?
Yeah.
It's good to be prefixed like that. What is good about school today?
Yeah.
What was good about school today?
Get down to it.
So that way, you're able to hear things. But when they say it's good, they move on.
It's good. Switch the TV on for them.
Exactly. But what happened today? Yes, this boy bullied me a lot. You know, what happened? What makes school good today? My teacher gave me commentation about this and this and that. Create time to listen to people.
Yes.
The same thing with therapy. In therapy, we give people ask a lot of questions so that we don't assume. And that is important. And a lot of times, some people will get tired to say, I said I'm feeling this way and he's asking me a question. Well, we're asking a question to see, how did you get to where you are now? And that is very important in our field, to be able to probe for better resolution of the issue. And sometimes our people do not consider, because of that name associated with the illness, name matters. People are not afraid to go to see somebody that has cancer, that have diabetes. But people are afraid to go to psych units to see people because of that name. And so until we're able to destigmatize those things, we will not be comfortable accepting it.
Yeah.
But the moment we are able, there is no health without mental health.
Sure.
That is what the World Health Organization said, that there is no health without mental health. So until the day we believe that mental illness is like any other type of illness. I do this in churches. I let them know that the churches need to be a place for people to accept themselves and for people to be nurtured.
Yeah.
When people are depressed, that is not the time you cut them down again.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes you say, just get over it.
Yeah.
Just move past. You can't move past something that you cannot control.
Or something that you don't know. You have no name for it. You have not called it.
So that is what is happening. And but people are getting better now. Better than when I started over 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
people are attending and are listening than before. And sometimes we can call it holistic mental well-being. So sometimes it's good to call a spade, but sometimes it's good to call a spade an instrument. And so sometimes we have to say mental illness is mental illness.
Yeah.
But sometimes we can say mental, we are treating you from the holistic mental well-being. Some people will accept that.
Now, if you've been watching our stories, you know there's one question that I don't leave my guest without asking. Racism. What are the perceptions that we African immigrants have when it comes to racism? What are the experiences that we have? And more importantly, how are African immigrants integrating with Black Americans? Do not miss that. By the way, have you subscribed? Have you liked? Try and do us that favor. That's the only way YouTube gets to help promote this video.
Amazing grace, how sweet.
Every journey begins with a dream, a challenge, a moment of courage. At Afrisota Digital, we tell the real stories of resilience, success, and impact. We celebrate the triumphs, embrace the struggles, and inspire the future. Every voice matters. Join the movement, subscribe, like, comment, and be part of our community. Visit Afrisota.org and follow us because your story deserves to be heard. This is Afrisota. We aspire to inspire.
Amazing grace.